Gambia Red Cross to launch response to support flood victims. Germany set out strict measures to limit the spread of COVID-19 as number of new cases rise again. Nigeria is reopening cinemas after months of closure due to COVID-19 pandemic. These and more coming your way on The World Today. Hello, this is Africa TV and many thanks for joining us. Welcome to the news. I am Amadou Kante and now the news in detail, and we begin with matters of humanitarian because the Gambia Red Cross Society is set to provide humanitarian assistance to families severely affected by the pandemic. Several families have been hard hit by the economic impact of the coronavirus as a result of government measures meant to cope its spread. Ibrahim John reports.
The Gambia Red Cross Society is implementing the humanitarian body's famous slogan, "With humanity towards peace," as they get set to distribute cash to households impacted by the pandemic. Abdullah Faye, the program's manager of the Gambia Red Cross Society, said they will provide financial aid to almost 3,000 households in the Gambia.
We will be also doing cash transfer, for almost 3,000 households in the Gambia. So almost 3,000 households in the Gambia, we are trying to ensure that we provide cash, support to all these households.
2,000 families have been already assessed, and the disbursement of the relief package is expected to commence soon, according to FAI.
The first 2,000, we are just finalizing one or two things, and then we have already done the assessment. We have assessed, 2,000 households for one of the sites that the IFRC is going to support. We have also assessed up to 350 households that the EU with the Spanish Red Cross is going to support. But we have also made an assessment for 594 households that the Canadian government, that is the government of Canada, is going to support. And previously, with the support from the Spanish Red Cross, we have supported 169, households on supporting them with food and some cash.
Each household is expected to receive $3,600 from the Gambia Red Cross Society. As the Gambia government gradually loosens emergency regulations, poor and vulnerable families would require enormous financial and food aid as the country's economy opens up to full recovery in the coming months. Ibrahim John for iAfrica News.
And from that report there by Ibrahim John, next to Germany, because as the number of infected persons in the country exceed 35%, 100,000 inhabitants in some of its regions, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel has announced tightening COVID-19 restrictions. Under the new measures, people will be required to wear masks whenever they are in close contact with others in areas of coronavirus hotspots. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The new measures came as Germany posted a record daily increase in confirmed cases on Thursday, adding 6,638 cases and bringing the total to 341,223 according to a data from the Robert Koch Institute for Infectious Diseases. A second wave of the contagious virus is taking turns in most European countries, which prompts the imposition of more tough rules. German Chancellor Angela Merkel says restrictions in coronavirus hotspots will be tightened to combat its surge.
In accordance with our hotspots strategy, contact restrictions will be introduced when there are 50 new infections per 100,000 inhabitants over 7 days, both in public space and in private sphere. When it comes to parties, Furthermore, and this is a new step, first steps at 35 new infections per 100,000 inhabitants. We agreed on this preventive number of 35 since we have seen how fast the number increases from 35 to 50 in certain examples. Therefore, substantial contact restrictions will also be necessary at this level.
Notwithstanding the tight measures adopted by the German government, the federal states could not reach a consensus on visiting within hotspots in Germany after their meeting in Berlin on Wednesday. Hence, the issue will be clarified in their subsequent meeting on November 8.
Notwithstanding the tight measures adopted by the German government, the federal state could not reach a consensus on visiting within hotspots in Germany after their meeting in Berlin on Wednesday. Hence, the issue will be clarified in their subsequent meeting on November 8.
Due to the insensitive nature of how the virus transfers rapidly, Merkel appeals for a collaborative effort by observing the preventive measures.
There is also one implement in the already implemented measures, about which we should keep working on, and that is about the touristic travels from the risk regions. Keyword accommodation ban. We have discussed it for a very long time and from different points of view. It is indeed not easy to implement. Therefore, we will stick to the existing rules for the time of the autumn vacations. There has to be a bit of predictability for the people. But then with the end of the autumn vacations, the last autumn holidays end on November 8th in Bavaria. We will sit down together again.
With pubs and restaurants closed in hotspots regions, the Chancellor further appealed to young people to refrain from parties and celebrations so that they can live a good life tomorrow and in the future after the pandemic. For iAfrica News, I am Julden Suare.
German authorities outline tough measures to contain the spread of the COVID-19 in the country. Now we come back home because the basic and secondary education schools in the on Wednesday after months of closure due to the COVID-19 restrictions. Students has the opportunity to interact with their teachers face-to-face.
With one person per seat and a class accommodating half of the usual number of students, the Carnifing East Upper Basic and Senior Secondary Schools are experimenting with observing COVID-19 guidelines and providing a conducive environment for teaching and learning. Students have already lost several contact hours with their teachers, and some have said that the new system of learning by social distancing is not very conducive. Students like Aissatou Diallo, the student leader of Carnifing East Upper and Senior Secondary Schools, are devising their own ways of catching up on the missed lectures. Diallo wants to organize group studies.
My first target is like to organize a team studies where you students, you come together with a teacher or without a teacher, you help yourself because we have different students that are good in different subjects. If you organize a team studies, you will see that students with where any area that you are good at, you can help.
The students' overstay at home without compelling learning sections has prompted the extension of the normal academic calendar. According to the school principal, Biran Jan, students will now have to go to school 6 days a week and an extension of 11 months throughout the academic year instead of 9.
We have done one to extend the school days from 5 to 6 and to extend the academic year from 9 months to 11 months. Instead of 9 months, it's going to be 11 months. And we think with the Saturdays added and the number of months added about 2 months, we will not be able to cover all the lost time but at least we will take 2/3 of the lost time. That's our expectation.
It is mandatory that schools implement safety measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 among teachers and students. At the Carnifing East Upper and Senior Secondary Schools, the class prefects are tasked to make sure that every student wears a face mask. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Daisy.
And from the report there by Daisy, as schools resume in the Gambia after months of closure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the Gambia Port Authority Ferry Service